Hello, and welcome to another episode of Treasured Tidbits. We are once again in the company of our good friends, the Carters, who you can't see through my head, my husband's very large noggin. This is Richard Carter.
It's a medium noggin.
Medium noggin, sorry, and that's Christy Carter. And this is their lovely house, what you can see of it. And it's a new house, so they haven't actually hung any pictures on the wall, but they will.
That's not where pictures go.
Well, it's a blank wall. Something's got to go there.
Over yonder.
All right. In any case, and this is my husband, in case you don't remember him, David Hammonds. Such a cutie. And then I am Catherine Hemmerling Hammonds. And the purpose of Treasure Tidbits, if you haven't seen any of the previous episodes, is to introduce you to my books. I'm a writer. And I write under the name Catherine Hemmerling. And today we're going to be reading some excerpts from my fourth book. It's my latest book. And you can find it on Amazon. All of the information will be at the end of the video. And also at the end of the video and the beginning of the video, there will be some lovely music by the band Made in Ireland that my husband is the drummer of. But aside from that, it's really good music. I don't just say that because I'm married to the drummer. And so you'll be able to get more information about Made in Ireland, spelled M-A-Y-D-E, at the end of the video as well. So stay tuned to get all of that info. Now the scene we're doing today from this fourth book is, it needs a little intro. What has happened is a family called the Potters. Their father has been accused. No relation to Harry. Sorry, I know it is British, but not that particular Potter. The family has chopped down a dead tree on the Earl of Blackwood's land, and he has accused them of violating the Black Axe. And if you're familiar at all with the Robin Hood stories, they are basically based on an actual historic thing called the Black Axe, where men caught stealing or chopping down trees or hunting on royalty land or that kind of thing could be prosecuted to the point of actually being hung as a result of this. And so this man has been accused of breaking these Black Acts. And so his whole family, at least the men of his family, have gone into hiding. And Sarah, who is the heroine, and David, who is the hero, have decided that they want to try to help this family by trying to, make the Earl of Blackwood not, basically kill the Potters for chopping down this one dead tree. So this is, we have found, along with our friend Melinda, the Potters. Thanks, Richard. And now we're kind of getting a little bit more information about why they're in hiding and why they think the Earl is persecuting them to this extent. So I think that's a pretty good explanation of where we are in the book. And this is the scene that ensues. As I said, Sarah, David, and then our friend Melinda, who is helping us out with this mystery. And then this is Liam. And he is William Potter's son. And William Potter is actually the one that the Earl is trying to kill, basically, for chopping down this tree to help his family. So we have found Liam and the rest of the Pottermen, and they are going to give us a bit more information. So now that we know what's going on and who's going to be involved and who's going to be speaking, we are going to just dive right into this thing. So carry away, folks.
Is William not here?
No, he is even better hidden. We will see him soon, though, and we'll let him know you have come to help.
I don't understand how the Earl expects the officials to take his charge seriously. It was a dead tree. We've seen it.
To Blackwood, it doesn't matter. Originally, the Black Axe only applied to men in disguise trying to poach off the king's lands. But over the years, the conflict came to be fought between the landed gentry and those of lesser rank. We have argued that game animals in the non-maintained wooded areas, by virtue of being wild, are the property of everyone, but the landowners feel the game and foliage on their land is their exclusive property.
That is simply arrogance and foolishness. If a wild deer leaves one man's land and onto another's, it is still his property? If he is not actively grooming the trees and the woods, how can he claim them as his? And regardless, the tree you chopped up was dead. I have half a mind to deliver all the dead trees on his land to his front porch and see what he decides to do with them then. They are his property, after all. Let him keep them all in his library.
You, sir, are an honorable man, a man of common sense. I had begun to think there were no more men like you anymore.
My husband is just one of many such men in my acquaintance, but I am lucky in my friendships. Many men are too much like Lord Blackwood, unfortunately. I am sorrier than I can say that you have been reduced to this fugitive state, trying to provide for your family.
I appreciate your kind words, but in this case, my family and I think there is more to the story than just the spiteful Earl.
More to the story? Whatever do you mean?
I believe this persecution has to do with the senior Blackwood's last will and testament.
A will? That came out a little more forceful than I intended. A will? What on earth could the elder Earl's last wishes have to do with this injustice?
Ever since the late Earl's death, his nephew, the Blackwood with which you are familiar, has been acting very strangely. I believe Melinda can attest to this odd behavior.
Melinda informed us of this the very first time we met.
He is looking for something that we think would impact the title of Earl. It is making him paranoid. I believe he is making an example of us as a warning to anyone else who may be thinking of trespassing on his land.
Why do you think that earldom is in question?
Wishful thinking, probably. You see, the old Earl was a kind man. He provided well for the cottagers. He was also well known that he was not fond of his brother's son. It was rumored that he did not intend to let his nephew inherit, but in the last few months of his life, the Earl began behaving oddly.
Odd how?
He was seen talking to himself, and his household staff said he'd become very secretive. He began locking himself in his room, his food was left at the door, and even his valet was forbidden from entering his chambers.
It sounds like senility. I have heard it can cause people to do all sorts of strange things.
I don't know, but he seemed to think someone was watching him. Going through his things, we were wondering if he felt the need to hide his will from his nephew, perhaps. Clearly he had a secret that he didn't want anyone to know until after he died.
Why do you say that? Couldn't it all have been in his head?
I suppose. But when the valet entered his room after 2 days of food had been left uneaten in the hallway and found him slumped over his writing desk dead, the Earl was surrounded by crumpled notes. Clenched in his fist was a poem written in his own hand.
Now I'm confused too. A poem?
Was the Earl a poet?
Not if this poem was any indication. I am not well versed in the art of poetry, but the work did not seem very impressive.
Perhaps he was a poet and didn't know it.
Honestly, I think the poem was meant to leave the rightful heir to the Earl's will.
But who is this other heir? And how was he supposed to know about the poem?
We don't know. Perhaps the Earl intended to send the poem to the man in question and died before he had a chance.
Do you have the poem?
Sadly, no. The only copy we know of is in the hands of Blackwood.
That must have been the paper I saw him with in his library.
If he has the poem, How do you know what it said?
The valet. He was the first to read the missive. His memory is all we have to go on.
Well, that won't do. Unless he has Rose's memory, his account is bound to be riddled with mistakes. Even the smallest difference could have massive repercussions, especially if it's meant to lead us to something so important.
I don't know anyone with Rose's memory skills. Therefore, his faulty recitation might explain the supposed quality of the poem.
That is possible, of course. But we still think it is the key to our freedom.
I am inclined to agree.
If you really want to help, find the poem, find the will, find the heir. A reasonable, honorable man is our only chance. Blackwood will continue this persecution, if only to keep others off his land and out of his way.
I agree that leaving your fate to Blackwood's devices is as good as putting a noose around your father's neck. We will do everything in our power to not let that happen. Is it secret? Is it safe? Or, no, stay hidden. Stay well.
May God be with you. Regardless of what happens, we cannot thank you enough for coming to our aid.
Thank my wife. It is her ability to love faithfully that has brought us here.
Thank you, my lady.
Sure thing.
Oh, yeah, babe.
So that's,
All right, my love.
that's the end. That's the end of the scene. And again,
My love.
perhaps you've seen this group before. There were some improvisational moments there, but I think you get the gist of the book. And if it's something you might be interested in, you can find more information about it once we get done with this video. I want to thank you all for coming and listening once again. I want to thank my friends for helping us out. More than likely, you'll probably see them again. I'm hoping they'll be willing to help even after this.
Do I get more lines?
Yeah, well, the second one.
Jeez, you were Liam.
He's referring to a previous video where he had 3 lines, but to be fair, in this one, Christy only had about 3 lines.
Right.
So, everybody has a part to play, and sometimes the part is small. However, we had a great time, and we hope that you will come back and see us again. And again, stay tuned for the end of this. We'll have a bit more information where you can find out more about me and my books, about David and the band, and about just, that's probably about it. That's probably all I'm going to include on that. But we want to thank you, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
I paid a flying visit to my first and only love. She's fair as any lily and gentle as a dove. She threw her arms around me, saying, "Johnny, I love you still." She was Meg the